Let's talk about Disclosure Day. This is Steven Spielberg's new film, and I had the opportunity to watch this a couple of days ago. I've sat with it for about 4 days now, and I think it just holds up so well, and I'm ready for a rewatch, honestly. So go check out my review if you don't want any spoilers. We're going to get into full spoilers here. Don't miss out on missing this movie without spoilers, because I think it's a movie you just want to go in not knowing anything about it and just experiencing it. So make sure you follow us wherever you can on Letterboxd, on TikTok, or Instagram, all provided right here, and also make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. We're going to have some more discussions about Disclosure Day. There's a lot to dive deep into it, so I'm going to be doing that over the weekend. Don't miss out on those conversations by subscribing. Let's get into Disclosure Day and what exactly did that ending mean. So this film, if you've seen the trailers, you pretty much have an understanding of what it is about. It's a movie where we see that there are people ready to showcase to the world that indeed aliens have been around for a long time, and that there is a group trying to withhold this information from the rest of the world because they don't think it's safe for them to know, and it's a battle of should we do this or not, and how is the best way possible to get this word out. So this movie, that's what it is about. I don't think that's even important, to be honest. This is more a movie, in my opinion, about the truth, about us as a humanity listening to one another, freedom of the press, a ton of other things. Aliens is just the sort of like structure of it, right? Like that's just the little like red herring, I think, because it's important, right, for people to know if aliens are out there or not, right? But I think what this movie's really trying to get at, that's the more important factor here, is who is responsible for holding the truth, who is responsible for getting the truth out, and how do we have a more stable society, right? This movie starts off on the brink of World War III. We see that the nations are pretty much almost there. They are inching closer, and it feels so timely, right? And I think Spielberg wrote this story back in 2023, and of course that's right after everything that happened in Europe, and now we are seeing how things have more like escalated. We're not here to talk about that right now, but I think it is so important to see how Spielberg writing this then and seeing this movie in today's world is like, damn, this is fucking like dark. But we follow Daniel Kellner here, who is played by Josh O'Connor, who is a cybersecurity personnel who has decided to become a whistleblower. They've taken a ton of information from the past decades that prove that aliens exist, and also a device from this company called Wardex. Wardex has been trying to keep all of these things undercover for many decades, and now they're pissed that Daniel came and just took everything alongside 12 other employees, and it's all being orchestrated by Hugo, who is played by Colman Domingo. Colman Domingo worked in the biological area of Wardex, so it seems that he was a lot closer to the aliens. We soon find out when Daniel showcases the footage that he was able to take from Wardex to his girlfriend Jane, who used to be a almost nun at some point, that Wardex was actually doing a lot of dastardly and evil things to these beings, including torturing them and trying to reverse engineer their technology, even themselves, in order to give weapons to the Department of Defense in the United States and amongst other agencies. So Wardex is a very shitty company that's been taking advantage of these beings, and Daniel, alongside Hugo and the rest of the Wardex de factos, have had enough, and they want to find a way to get the truth out, but they just don't know how. But Hugo has a plan, and that plan revolves around a weather woman. The weather woman is Margaret Fairchild, played by Emily Blunt, who one day just immediately starts to get all of these different abilities, from being able to read people with their thinking, also speak different languages, and just is having these weird like moments that she doesn't know how to explain. Eventually, all of this leads her to find Hugo as well as Daniel, and the three of them are set now on a road to uncover the truth. One man, however, will stand in their way, and that is going to be Noah Scanlon, who is played by Colin Firth. And he is the head of Wardex Corporation, and he tries everything to stop them from using the alien device that he has in order to infiltrate their minds, to control others, at one point even Jane to kill Daniel, which of course fails because Jane's able to find a way against this. But Noah is very hell-bent on not letting the truth come out because he doesn't think the world is ready and that they need to keep peace and stability. Jane also has kind of a epiphany at one point when she realizes if people find out the truth about aliens, won't that shatter their faith and religion and all of this, and that could turn everything into chaos. However, she comes around at one point when she she speaks to one of the head nuns at the monastery that she was in at one point and asks them how would they feel if aliens were actually real. And the nuns kind of say, well, if God intended to build something beautiful and build the universe, we can't possibly think we are the only ones here. There has to be others, because God would have created it for everybody and anybody, and so there has to be other life forms. This is kind of what sets Jane and makes her feel a little bit better about everything, and this is why she continues on with what Daniel, Hugo, and Margaret are trying to accomplish. We also find out that Hugo has been trying to rebuild Margaret's home ever since we see him at the beginning of the film. We just see that there's a lot of people working on a big project for him. We find out that indeed the project that Hugo has been working on is recreating Margaret's childhood home. He was waiting to see when Margaret and Daniel would get back together, because he realized very early on that there were two humans that were actually contacted by aliens at some point when they were young and given special powers, and those two are actually Daniel and Margaret. Daniel got the power to be able to understand how the aliens speak, their writing and all of that, which was mathematics. That's how they were able to communicate, because it would be the same across the universe. And that's actually the same language that Margaret was speaking at the beginning of the film, that nobody understood what she was saying except for Daniel. So Daniel was given this gift of understanding and being able to decipher this universal language. Margaret's able to have this sort of gift where she's able to feel people's feelings, their thoughts, and be empathetic and sort of be a messenger of sorts. And this is why Hugo believes Margaret is the one that's supposed to deliver the message to the rest of the world. And what exactly did the alien tell Daniel when he whispered into his ear? I don't think it matters what he told Daniel. I think that that is not what the movie was about. It wasn't either about this whole conspiracy of the alien truth or any of that. Spielberg just used that as a way to communicate this much more important message, and that is the message of communication, the freedom of the press, and transparency. The truth will set you free. The truth will never be hidden. It will come out at some point, and the truth will enlighten everybody. And I thought that that was beautifully said in this film. I also love the parallels between Margaret and almost being a messiah type of figure as well, where we see that Margaret is this character that is able to give people these feelings and almost like be able to be empathetic towards them. She's able to get into their thoughts. She's able to just be there for them. And I thought that that was such a powerful thing that Margaret's able to do. Can almost feel like a Christ-like character in some degree. I don't think David Koepp was writing it that way. He also said that when he was talking to an outlet that he really wasn't intending to go there, but we'll talk more about that in another video, because there's a lot that we can really decipher with that as well. Noah also eventually gave up on trying to stop them from coming out with the truth, because I think he realized that there was no way to stop this. It was like a freight train. It was going straight and it was never stopping, and it was just futile, and he was just like, whatever, let the truth come out, as we see him sit down. But I think also at the end of the day, he sort of changed after he met Margaret, when she was able to turn into his wife, because she had those powers, and he sort of felt like maybe these beings really aren't there to sort of like destroy us or anything, and maybe the world deserves to know the truth as well. You know, I think Noah was such a conflicting character. I wish we got a little bit more of him and his vulnerability. I think that that really would have added more. I think Colin Firth played him good for what he was able to get, but I really wish we got a little bit more about this character of Noah. So that's pretty much what I think is happening. And that final message, I think, really hits a lot harder when you think about where this world is in this movie, but also where our world is. Spielberg wrote this in 2023, right at the height of the invasion that happened then. And in those 3 years, a lot more has happened. And I think we are in a very weird place right now. And I think that this is a really important message, is that we just have to listen to one another and be there for one another a lot more than we are. And of course, it can start at a base local level between you, your neighbor, your people around you in your community, and of course hopefully that snowballs into more of an international and global thing, and one can only hope, right? Hugo also had to rebuild Margaret's childhood home, because this was the only way to have her be able to go back to that time. As we know with the device, when you're using it, you are able to use it a lot better when you have a reference, just as Noah would use it to look at people and be able to infiltrate their minds and be able to control them or talk to them. So Margaret needed the home in order to go back into that time, so she was able to harness and fully use the powers that they gave her then. And that is how we found out, of course, that Daniel was there with her as well, and that's why Hugo saw both of them as the chosen ones, if you will. Jane also was the other one that had the device that was able to bring back the power in the station when Wardix cut it off. The one beforehand that Hugo had that Margaret was using ultimately disintegrated when Margaret used all of it up in order to keep a whole crew and like 3 fire trucks invisible from Wardix so they wouldn't be caught. But thanks to Jane coming through with that other device, they were able to power on the station. And that device is a device that can be used for whatever you want it to be, right? It's a creation tool. Kind of saw it almost like a pen, because journalists use pens and pens are important to get the story out. And I think that that is definitely what Spielberg and Koepp are alluding to here. That device is the pen. The power of the pen is mightier than the sword. But Jane ultimately had the epiphany to help them out when she talked to the head nun, who told her that a universe created for just humans would not be like something God would do. He would create it for all beings out there. And that sounded beautiful to Jane enough to be like, yeah, I'm all into helping them now. I think you really see the importance and how crucial a movie like this can be. And hopefully in years to come, people can look back at it and say, that was a fucking good movie. But I really enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on it. And I think that that is one of our best endings to a movie in a long time. So I hope you let me know your opinions down below. But let me know what you thought about it in the comments. Make sure you follow us for all the things you love. We're on the road to 50,000 subscribers. Let's get to it. Hit that subscribe, hit the notification bell. Make sure you follow us on Letterboxd, TikTok, or Instagram, all provided right here. And I'll see y'all next time. Stay safe, stay positive.